Time for the Once a Monther with Kaylor Hodges at Kaylor Hodges at the USL show. And there are a couple of things that are on the USL docket that I wanted to start things off with you. First one is the mess in Oakland, and I'll phrase it that way because of the back and forth with elected politicians and the Joint Project Authority wanting 6 figures and a lot of money, which is more than 7 figures. What's the update there with Roots? Are they going to make the rest of their home schedule? Is it pay to play? Because that was part of the table too, and the idea 200,000 walk in the door. What's the deal?
So with Oakland, they had already announced prior to this that they would not be coming back to the Coliseum next year because they were going to have their own stadium off campus. Still in Oakland. That's a part of their own thing. It's going to be a pop-up as be prepared for the Terminal Stadium that's going to be coming out in, I believe it's going to be at 15,000 in a couple of years. I think it's the plan.
Okay.
So with this situation, it kind of came out suddenly, hey, the Roots owe millions to the Coliseum, and everybody's like, whoa, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And the long and short of it is that the Roots got a bad deal. They cut a bad deal. They were trying to save the Coliseum because they are rooted in Oakland. And do you know who else was rooted in Oakland? It was the Athletics. So there was a lot of symbolism there. And it was a great idea getting in there. I mean, their first game, they got 26,000 people in attendance. And if that worked, it would have been great. And nothing would have been a problem because only revenue they were getting from the situation was ticket sales. Yeah. They weren't getting concessions. They were not getting anything else in the stadium. They were not getting parking. So all the little things that actually make up most of your favorite team's gate receipts, they weren't getting any. So if they were getting 26,000 people in the stadium, that works. Well, then it started to dwindle a little bit, and that's where they started getting an issue. So if I can find the number really fast, they were either told they could pay the full $1.38 million or a flat fee of $38,000, the $20,000 for food and beverage deposit, $15,000 in facility fees, and $200,000 for each of the remaining games. So they can pay just under $200,000 up front and then $200,000 for each remaining game. Yeah. I don't know how this is going to work out. When I talked to the San Francisco Chronicle about this, I kind of told them that this size stadium is an albatross for the league. Yeah. But what they're trying to go to, which is an 8,000-seater stadium, is not. That's pretty on par. Their attendance is on par. So really all this is just a rough deal. I would be stunned if they miss any home matches. I would. Now, if they do miss home matches, I think they'll move to a new venue.
Yeah.
I think it'll just go to a new venue. The league has been open for other venue changes and making stuff happen temporarily. I mean, look at my Birmingham Legion. They're going to be playing at Donovan Valley, which is less than the professional league standards. They are going to be sitting around 3,000 to 4,000, and the minimum is 5. So the league is willing to make exceptions, even if it breaks the league standards in a situation like this. So I think they can make it work, even if they get booted from the Coliseum. Is that a PR situation they want to deal with? Absolutely not. But they're already dealing with it. So what's worse than finding a new intimate home?
From what I understand, the lease agreement that they signed, and you mentioned most of it, it's basically where they just get tickets. They don't right. get any of the other opportunities to sell ad boards or hoardings or anything, any kind of representation, any kind of sales or anything like that within the stadium itself. And then you mentioned the other revenue. The city gets all of that revenue. The Oakland Alameda County group, JPA, gets that, and they have to cap it according to what the Roots said publicly. They have to cap it at 7,000 in attendance. Yes. And they had a match with Sacramento that was here as one of the remaining home matches. And they could have anticipated a big crowd from coming down to see the Republic and the Roots, but they had to cap it at 7 because of the added cost of getting to that next level of attendance figures and security and concessions and all that kind of stuff. they were making their payments early last year.
Yep.
Everything seemed to be fine. But this year, they seem to be stuck in the mud for one reason or another. Do we know why momentum hit a brick wall going from last year to this year? Do we know at all?
A little bit of momentum, and I think if there's a couple of things that were noted where they lost 5 games, like 5 weeks of revenue because of Major League Cricket, which is a cool experience, but that is 5 weeks of no money.
Yep.
Even if you're the most tight budget, if you went 5 weeks without being paid, you're probably missing on a payment or two on something, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that has happened constantly with the Roots in the situation where concert here, international match here. Now you get Major League Cricket. So they've just kind of been booted for numerous reasons. And they've said that they are committed to paying the debt, that they're not going to leave any debts on the table, that they're going to make right because they care about that kind of stuff. Granted, they also have to say that. They can't say, nah, we're good. Yeah. But even so, that seems like what it is. It's more of a little bit of a rut that's kind of caused by the situation, which is, hey, we are getting booted out of here. And if we get booted out here, we have no money. So what money do you want us to pay? I think they even mentioned during the meeting, the open meeting, of if we don't play matches, we can't pay the money. Yeah. So yes, you want $200,000 per game, but the only way you'll get your $200,000 is if we play the game. Right. So it feels like a lot of posturing and chicken and like playing a game of chicken where they'll eventually come to some agreement, but it's just a messy situation all around.
Yep. And you mentioned Legion. I have not heard about this. What is this with Legion and Donovan Valley?
They're moving. So they were already planning to play their match versus Rhode Island at Donovan Valley because they had a match that was going to be moved because Usher and Chris Brown were playing in the stadium. Well, that match got rained out because Legion have, I don't know, made God mad, and they are not allowed to play matches anymore. And so they have now rescheduled 2 matches upcoming. Charleston and one other one I can't remember off the top of my head right now are going to be playing 2 matches at Donovan Valley, which are going to be capped. The number the club said was anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500. So it's going to be smaller than the professional standards allow, but they have a waiver that is signed off on it. It's fine. I went out there before the match got canceled versus Rhode Island. The venue looked amazing. I think fans are really going to enjoy it. And some people were a little upset because one's a midweek match and the other one is the Auburn's home opener. But I also would counter with the fact that isn't that the perfect time to go to a smaller stadium? Would you really want to be a protective stadium with Auburn's home opener? I wouldn't. So why not go to the smaller venue and be a little bit more intimate? Is it a possible soft launching of this being the site going forward? I wouldn't count against it, but that's coming from no sources within the club. That's just personal conjecture.
Yep. Shelby County Reporter article from Andrew Simonson has the September 12 match and the September 16 match there. September 12 is against the Battery at 6, and that's still going to be Hispanic Heritage Night. Match was previously scheduled for Sunday, September 13th at Protective. Move was made due to UAB's home opener against Louisiana Monroe, which is set for the 12th at 2:30. Keeping the game at Protective would give the grounds crew 24 hours to flip the field for soccer. The match on the 16th is the rescheduled date for the New Mexico United match, and that one is at 7:30. They tried to play July 24 and 25, but you mentioned how Mother Nature hates you, and that's why you're out at Donovan Valley. For those that do not know, it is listed as, soccer in Shelby County. Where is Donovan Valley Fields, and where does it play within the Birmingham purview of, okay, you can go here and watch matches? Where is it within the city, and what does it do when it's not the de facto home for these 2 dates for Legion?
I'm just going to tell you, there's a drum line playing in the background. This is happening live.
That's great. I knew that you were doing this, and so that's why they did the.
It's even on the door. Can you hear me?
Barely.
All right. You want to just kind of cut this and wait?
No.
Keep going. We do it live.
Yeah.
Podcast listeners only. Hi. So what we where this is off of 280, and it's in Chelsea, and so it's going to be outside of Jefferson County. So it's going to be what feels like the middle of nowhere, but it's actually Legion's training facility, and where they have played Legion 2 and W League matches this year.
Okay.
So this is already the home of Legion. This is the training facility. So kind of expected. They kind of know what to do here. They've also held friendlies here, so it's not like this is completely unheard of for them.
Okay. For those that don't know your background, please explain your current location, where you're sitting, and you have the drum line happening behind you. They don't quite know your day job, everybody. So what is the day job?
My day job is being a band director. I'm in the band room, and I'm in my office, and they're done now. They're done now. Welcome back, guys.
That's hilarious. But just so folks know, you're a band director at a high school in West Alabama.
Yes.
And this is the day job that pays all the bills, that makes sure that you can do things like this with us. So
yes.
Because I wanted to ask about Donovan Valley, because a lot of folks might know Protective, and they're like, oh, they're just going over here to play. And I wanted you to kind of break down where here is, and not necessarily sit there and poo-poo it off the top, basically.
Correct. So this is off of 280. So if you don't really know, if you take 280 like you're going to Auburn, this is right outside Chelsea. And this is supposed to be the first ever professional soccer match happening in Shelby County, which is already cool in of itself. But this is Legion's everyday training facility, which a lot of the players are really excited about, because they train on grass and then they go and play on turf.
Yes.
So
Protective has its moments, yes.
Yeah, so this is just kind of what they're doing. But yeah, so this is right down the road, probably about 30 minutes from the stadium.
Okay.
For some people, that would be a little bit annoying, but I think it's fine. I think it's I'm driving from Tuscaloosa, so it's a drive for me. But some people in Birmingham proper, not happy about it. But people who live on the outskirts, which are most Legion fans, it's probably better for them.
And I was going to ask, you wouldn't have to know the percentages of season ticket holders and where folks travel from to get to the games at Protective, do you?
I would say that probably about 50% of season ticket holders come from this over the mountain area, which is where it is.
Okay.
So this would favor probably about 50% of the season ticket holders. And meanwhile, the rest of 50 are either in the metro, on the opposite side of town, or on the outskirts. So a vast majority of the hardcore hub comes from this area.
Okay. Our resident band director, Kaylor Hodges, at the USL show, hanging out with us to do the month that was and the month that is. We haven't even had the chance to talk about Chicharito and Atletico Dallas yet. What's been the feedback there?
I mean, there's a lot of conversation for me, which is this the biggest signing in league history? Where you can look at Joe Cole joining the league, and that's big, but Joe Cole doesn't have the same regional impact as a Chicharito to Texas. Mm-hmm. You could look at Didier Drogba, who is undoubtedly a better player than Chicharito.
Yeah.
But when you consider the Mexican population within Texas, within the United States, who would make them more excited, Didier Drogba or Chicharito?
Yeah,
I think it's Chicharito. The only other one that I can think of in terms of getting people in seats and people buy jerseys, Cristo Fernandez, Danny Rojas.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I mean, when you consider the widespread popularity of Ted Lasso, I think it's Chicharito and Danny Rojas. Wow. I think those are your two biggest signings, and one of those I think will play more than the other.
Yeah,
I think this would be closer to a Didier Drogba type move, where maybe he'll play 10 matches in a year, be really, really good, and then just enjoy life being basically retired. I think that's what this is. I doubt he'll play many minutes, but even so, they're going to the Cotton Bowl. Them and the Trinity are now combined as one organization. They're bringing in Chicharito. All the momentum is going right for them right now, and this is definitely the right way to start it off.
Yeah, I do want to talk Super League, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Eastern Conference and the championship, Rowdies 8 points clear. And then after that, you've got Charleston, who Phoenix came in and picked up some firepower on a signing, and they get to add that to their mix out in the Western Conference. But you go a couple down, you maybe, if you want to use, say, what? Lou City at 4 at 28 points. You've got 6 teams, 7 points. Hartford Athletic right now, 9th below the bar. So the 4 to 8 battle or the 4 through 9 battle seems to be where it is right now.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, I think you see a clear gap between 1 and 2 and the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't look at points, Detroit City is fantastic. But if I'm talking power rankings, it's Tampa Bay, Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
That's my quote unquote power rankings. Detroit City, I wouldn't want to go to Keyworth.
No.
Don't get me wrong. And they actually are scoring goals. They are actually scoring. They're defending well because that's what they do. Those are kind of my 3, but I still think it's the Battery. Even though Detroit City can go above the Battery with the game in hand, if I'm asking who do I trust more right now in a do or die game, it's still Charleston. After that, you're looking at Lou City, who they are quite literally as patchy as it gets. Win, loss, draw.
Yep.
Could not get any more patchy than that. You get Pittsburgh, who looks good. They look really good. And then they lose to Jacksonville. So who are they? So there's that. Rhode Island, they have games in hand that can send them really high up, but I don't see consistency. But maybe this win versus Colorado Springs is what can do it, because Colorado Springs and what they're doing this year is really good, especially lately.
Yep.
Miami, I mean, when you have Lakosha and Eloy Room in there, it's going to be enough to win you a match. And maybe that's enough in a pretty bad Eastern Conference. All you have to do is win a few more matches down the way. Indy, they're unique. They have a lot of games in hand. They can fly up the standings, but they have shown no signs in doing so because they are lossless and forever. Wow. Hartford, they have Siaha, which I think alone does a lot. I think they can ride him just like Miami with Eloy Room. Mm-hmm. Loudon, they're showing signs of life. Birmingham, here's what I'll say about Birmingham. They haven't played Brooklyn Sporting Jacks yet at all.
Okay.
So they have a combined 4 matches against the 2 worst teams in the league, and they have games in hand. If that gives you hope that they can make up 12 points and get back into this thing, maybe. Do I have that hope? Not fully, but that is what it is. And then Brooklyn and Jacksonville, they played this year.
Yes, they have, and they are. The Western Conference continues to be off the rails ridiculous. I mean, you can cut the top 8 in half if you want. You can go 1 through 4, or you can go 4 through 9. You could go 3 through 9, and you've got 7 teams separated by 5 points if you go 3 through 9. It's chaos personified in the West, which is great for folks like us to talk about. But for them, it's chaos personified.
Well, you mentioned Phoenix. I want to start at the bottom here because they do end up picking up Juan David Torres from Charleston on loan, where he was in Peru playing in the top tier, had an almost $500,000 transfer fee, an optional transfer fee tied to him. Wow. Did not materialize. They sent him back out on loan. I doubt Phoenix has that same $500,000 option to buy, but even so, is that going to be what gets the goal scoring happen? Because they're creating chances. That's one thing they're really good at. They're really good at creating chances. They're just not putting them away. Is Juan David Torres that guy? I kind of want him setting up the pass personally. He can score, but I think I'd rather see him setting it up for me personally. Mm-hmm. After that, you're looking at up at the top, it's still Orange County for me. I think Orange County is the class, but Lexington is quickly storming up. They are quickly making the rounds. They are quickly moving up. Tulsa, I don't have much faith in. I got to be honest. I just don't. I know they've won, but I just don't. I don't know.
Mhm.
New Mexico, once again, I don't know, but they are on the hottest streak ever, and they have 3 matches in hand. So why not start believing in them? They are really, really good. San Antonio, I'm still just not sold on after their hot patch at the beginning.
Okay.
Um, After that, 6 to the bottom, Colorado Springs. That they've started losing lately, but they were really good for a while. And that, other than that, it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's and the thing you look at Sacramento as an example. We're used to seeing them 1, 2, 3 in the West. Right now, they're 7, but they're a win out of third. And
Mm-hmm.
they have a good, and they've got a match in hand. So if they win that, then they rocket up the table to third place. And so, I mean, the Western Conference for me, like I said, it's great for us to talk about, and for them, I'm sure that they're going to try and figure out, okay, how do we not bite our nails all for the rest of the season right now at the halfway point. So, I mean, it's really interesting in the Western Conference just to see how the chaos has rolled itself out.
Yep.
League One, before we get into Super League, League One has its own brand of chaos, and it's once again you've got the 2 groups. It's the Union Omaha group, what Jamie Henderson has done there at Union Omaha to assemble that batch of folks. 2 points clear of Charlotte, and Charlotte's 1-3 of 5. 1 Knox is right into that mix, and then you have 4 points and 5 teams going 3 through 7. You've got Boise, who's still a part of the discussion. AV Alta is north of the playoff bar. Red Wolves had won 3 in a row at one point to get north of the playoff bar. Fort Wayne, after their hot start, they've kind of come back to the pack, losing 4 of 5. And Corpus Christi, with your man Amon Zayed, has kind of hit a bit of a rhythm after figuring out what they are in League One. What have you seen out of League One so far?
Union Omaha's great. Charlotte's great.
Yeah.
Those are my top 2. You can also look at 1 Knox and put that in that same category. But the best team in the league, probably Ford Madison.
Wow. Okay.
If you haven't watched them, they have really turned it on. Really turned it on. They have changed formations. They've revamped everything. Gebhardt is the only returning member of an 18-man, or sorry, a 22-man squad. 1 person came back from last year, and you could tell at the beginning of the year, and now they are red hot. This Ford Madison team is legit. Pay attention to that. Charlotte, they are patchy, but when they are on, they're on. They feel like the cream of the crop outside of Union Omaha, who not flashy, but boy, do they just get results. They just do it and do it and do it. They are just even kill the whole time. After that, Corpus Christi is making a surge.
Mm-hmm.
They are stabilizing. I think that there's talent there. I think it can work. Chattanooga has the defense to really play and make their way through. Plus, they have 17 matches played. They have 5 games in hand over AV Alta. If they get results, they're climbing up this board.
Mm-hmm.
After that, after Corpus Christi, Fort Wayne, I think 11 and under at this point. Portland, Naples, Westchester, Greenville, Sarasota, Richmond, New York. I think it's over. Okay. I think they're done. Okay. I think you're realistically looking at 10 and up and who's fighting for what position. I think the top 4 are basically locked. I think it's going to be Union Omaha, Charlotte, 1 Knox, Ford Madison. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be everybody else fighting for the last 4. Who's it going to be? Pick your favorite because no one knows. I think for me, I would go Boise, Spokane, Chattanooga, and Fort Wayne. AV Alta are really good. I think they've gotten right. However, they have played so many matches ahead of everybody else. I think by the time the games in hand happen, that they're going to fall down the pecking order, and they kind of left it a little late.
And Super League kicks off this weekend for the fall grid. And for those that might have missed the championship game, I would say that your required viewing, if you're going to check out the Super League, is to go back and watch the final.
Yes.
And what that meant to the Super League, you look at Carolina and Lexington, I would say safely that they are 1 and 2 heading in. And when you look at this group heading into the fall season, Lexington, Carolina, Sporting Jacks has done well, Dallas Trinity, Tampa Bay, DC, Brooklyn, and Fort Lauderdale. You got to see once again, we've been talking about groups, and you saw just how crowded it was at the top in the Super League in the season that just passed. Are you anticipating that same kind of chaos where we get to have fun times talking about it and everybody else is banging their heads against the wall about how tight it's going to be?
Maybe, especially with this being a short season, because they are changing to the normal American schedule.
Right.
And this is going to be just a mad sprint to the finish, which should just be fun. So I think it's going to create some really interesting teams. This is almost giving like the 60 game MLB season from COVID, where it's going to be like, wow, this is halfway through, and we'll be saying stuff like, well, if this was 2026, they would have been champions, stuff like that. But I think so. You look at Lexington, they're coming back, and they have retooled, and they have brought in Perry from Juventus, who is so good. They brought in Campbell, who is really, really good. She is coming in from Gotham, where she was fantastic, especially out at Stanford.
Yep.
You're looking at Sporting Jacks, who, if you didn't watch, they took it to Wrexham. In Wrexham.
They did.
5-0. Absolutely killed them. Where they've brought in Fontenot, who is going to be slotting at right wing back, a place where they were good last year, but Smekrud was really good, but not quite Fontenot. You end up, and then you have AJ Hennessy, who's going to be kind of falling down the pecking order. That's a really good squad. The Sun,
yeah,
I don't see a lot there for me.
Okay.
To really see revitalization to where they are. I think they have good players. I specifically want to look at Jasmine Ferguson, who was so good at center back out of LSU. I thought she was stunning. Scarpelli was really good in Brooklyn last year, playing left back or center back wherever they need her to play. But is that enough to get them out of last? I don't think so.
Okay.
After that, pick your favorite. I mean, Carolina looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina looks amazing. They bring in Hope Hissey, who is like the only player you could get to replace. Where you can get McClelland replaced. Toppin is going to be coming in as a backup, but everything else is really good. The Trinity, they completely revamped it, and I think it has the potential to be better, but I don't know. I just need to see how they get started. This is a largely brand new squad. Is that going to work in a short season? If they get hot quick, yes, but I wouldn't bet on it. DC Powers brought in some good players, specifically Tyler Lucy coming in, which should be really fun to see on that right wing. I would probably say that my top right now is Lexington, Carolina, Sporting Jacks. I know that's boring, but after that, I don't really know. But those will be my top three, and everybody else is fighting for the final spot.
All right. And so since the live show was last night for the USL show, folks need to go back and listen to it and or watch. What else is going on with the USL show?
Not too much. We got a bunch of stuff coming with kit season right now. They do a bunch of interviews. They've had a lot of great interviews lately on how kits are made, how they're designed, how they pick certain materials, and then just giving them ratings, talking about the fashion of football. So it's a ton of good stuff. Our friends at the USL show, so John Morrissey's putting out amazing things for USL Tactics. Alex Ashton's putting out fantastic work on League One Updater. Ryan Allen has his own USL kind of betting thing, which is not really if you want to get into betting, but he also kind of talks about why certain lines are the way that they are, and if you were to see them, why they're edging that way, which I think is really interesting and really fascinating along the way. And Phil is finally getting back and up and running again, so which is always good to have him back around. So the people at the USL show are just putting out amazing content.
It's very, very cool. As always, I can't thank you enough for hanging out at Kaylor Hodges on the 280 character app. And we fought through a drum line to get this.
We did.
And that was fantastic. Good to see you, my friend. And you know that if there's anything, if news breaks, we're here to fix it, and just jump in at any time. And especially if you're going to get in trouble with the teachers and everything like that. You might need to have somebody cover your class. It's always great to see you. We'll see you soon.
See you.